Try and get this done within an hour. Almost impossible. Here we go.
Well, hello again, Egg Chasers. It's the Egg Chasers Rugby Podcast, the podcast about rugby that doesn't take itself or the game too seriously. And here, right now, in the Rugby Dungeon, to talk about all domestic rugby matters. If you're clicking on this expecting to hear about England's amazing win in the Women's Rugby Six Nations, there were some other games going on over the weekend in international rugby between England and Wales. They don't need to be talked about. Well, anyway, point is you've clicked the wrong one. That's already in our feed. Go and click on that. This is all about domestic matters with JB right there.
Hello, Timothy.
With Phil right there.
Hello, Tim.
And well, how was your Monday?
Very Monday-ish. It's my last Monday on paternity leave. So
sinking feeling.
Bittersweet. Yeah.
Can't wait to get out of the house, yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, you've got an in-house gym now. That's very exciting, isn't it?
I do. My other precious little bundle of joy that arrived last week. So I can train at home.
Whenever
I can
you
kind of
want.
do...
Genuinely?
Yeah, he's got a little squat rack.
Have you got a squat rack? Yeah.
Squat rack.
Have you got like just two standing things, or have you got like a proper rack?
Proper rack. Half rack, but a good sturdy rack.
Small problem with it, though.
No one's going to be stood in it doing bicep curls.
Well, apart from me, occasionally.
The only problem
Break my own rules.
You've only got enough room to do bicep curls. So like, you couldn't... I don't think you can get the weights on your shoulders, can you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, can you?
I mean, I can.
Oh, right.
So the ceiling is 195 centimetres. So
You can't do push press.
6'5", so you can't do push press. You probably would be okay, Jay, with the bar...
Just load it
with 20 kgs on each side.
Yeah, and I just load it with 2.5 weights. Loads and loads of 2.5 weights.
120 kg in 2.5 kg increments.
It's the only way that I'm doing it.
Yeah, I've got that. So a 7-foot Olympic bar.
Wow.
About 200 kilograms of weight so far. I'm going to get some more. Bench.
I believe you're actually disciplined enough to actually use it, whereas most people buy all this stuff and it's a very expensive clothes hanger.
Tell you what I've got, which is a real good investment. I was using it tonight actually. Is my pull-up bar outside. I've got a pull-up and dip rings. They're very good fun.
It's an incredibly rocky start to proceedings, and I mean in the sense of the Rocky movie.
Yes, quite.
This is the podcast to talk about domestic matters. I thought, you know how it seemed to go down very well when we went into the salary cap a few weeks ago. A lot of people saying that it was really interesting, really informative. I think we should really chuck under the microscope Manu Tuilagi and what he should do next. We should maybe war game. We should war game and strategize, and
like
then
the Rand Corporation does.
Yeah, exactly, and come to a conclusion on what does Manu do. Because the situation is he's been to visit Racing 92.
Yep.
He has got an offer on the table from Leicester, which rumoured to be a significant pay increase, maybe 20-25% increase on what he's already being paid by Leicester,
which was reported in the region of 450. That kind of money.
That make that what?
He's not worth 450.
550 to 600.
Yeah, that kind of number.
Yeah. So he's got that offer on the table and he's weighing up his decision. Apparently there might be other clubs interested as well, but he's been to visit Racing. So,
and he's also, for the first time in a long time, wearing the 12 jersey. So he's a starter for England, which, if you manage to retain that, is worth... 25 grand a game, between 10 and 15 games a year.
All right, so let's war game staying at Leicester. So he's going to make. So this is let's say 550 to 600k salary.
Yes, salary plus the option of, let's just say, best case scenario, just for simple maths, 12 games, 300k for England.
Means he's approaching, before any extra image rights or sponsorship deals, he's close to £1 million per season.
900k, that kind of region, before anything
if he stays
else happens. If he stays fit for the England money, the Leicester money will be guaranteed.
Yes.
Now, so there's two parts to this. There's the money, which that is obviously pretty attractive. There will be few rugby players in the world who will be on significantly better than that. There's then the club and the opportunity to win things. because money. We've said it many times, but money's great. But when you're 40 and looking back, do you want to be counting medals or do you want to be counting pounds and pence?
Pounds and pence.
And well, both is the best option.
Well, it is, yeah.
And this Leicester team are not great. We saw yesterday on Sunday them travel to Worcester and be beaten in a very bad game, which we might get into a little bit later. Yeah. But this is not the Leicester of 10 years ago. This is not the dynasty Leicester. This is a cheap imitation of Leicester, it feels like, at the moment.
So let's actually flip the Leicester thing round, but actually suddenly be in the Leicester boardroom.
Okay.
So we are...
So do any of us know what our actual jobs are?
I'll be the tea lady.
Right. Okay.
Or tea man.
Okay.
I'm in charge of stationery.
We've got a head. So we've got a head of rugby. We've got a chief exec.
Yeah.
And we've got a director of rugby. Is that the structure that we're... Or we just got a head coach?
Head coach, DOR, and chief exec.
And no, but they do also have a head of rugby.
Okay.
So the chief exec is Cohen. The head of rugby is Jed Glynn? Jed Glynn. Yes, I keep wanting to say Jed Mason. Jed Mason's the owner of Sale. Yeah, and then you've got your rugby staff.
Okay.
So who's who here?
Well, to be honest, I'm already confused because I don't know what I know what a coach does, I know what a DOR does, I know what a chief exec does.
I'm not sure they have a DOR. Or maybe they do now.
We're a commune-like collective that are just going to come to a real...
Yeah, because that works well.
Yeah, that works really well. So we're going to decide. So we've got Manu Tuilagi. So we're sitting down. We go next order of business. Manu Tuilagi. To keep Manu, we're going to have to pay him close to 600k a season for the next 3 years.
Okay, not over my dead body.
What do we want to do?
No, never in a million years. Offer him half of what we offered him last time. That's what I'd be saying. And if he wants to go to France, let him go to France. That's my final offer. No, actually, I'll offer him less than that. If he comes back and negotiates, I'll offer him less.
So I was going to say 2/3 to 3/4 of what his deal was last time, because if I'm wearing a Leicester hat, I don't think we got anywhere near value on the last deal. Not even close to it.
Well,
I'd talk about
you're right.
I'd talk about a 1 to 2 year deal for him to prove his worth, and perhaps with an option of, if he can prove his worth in that period, an option to say, yeah, let's call it a 4 year deal. First two are 300k. The 2 years after that will be 600k if you prove you're worth it in that period.
Maybe
that's where I am.
Maybe a pay-as-you-play deal.
But
at least it's in football.
But
in fact, actually, sorry to interrupt, Phil, but they do have that in rugby, and I don't know if they still do it. I'm sure they do. But if you play a certain amount of first-team games, you get a bonus.
Yeah, probably.
So I would make that bonus incredibly high.
I can say all this now because there's enough water under the bridge. So there used to be a thing when I played at Newbury. You'd get...
Hang on, which coach was there?
This actually wasn't the Ben Ryan era.
Oh, right, okay.
Anyway, played at Newbury, and you would get X amount of pounds if you started.
Yeah.
And you would get that same amount if you appeared from the bench and played more than 20 minutes or more. The number of times I was a replacement that came on after 61 minutes.
Oh, I can only imagine. So I've got a story.
Shaking my fist.
There was a player who plays for a professional team, but I won't say which one, in the Premiership. And this must be, I'd say, 8 years ago. And I was asking one of these players, what's that guy like, such and such? And he goes, he's all right, but not my kind of guy. I was like, well, why not? And the player I was talking to needed his appearance off the bench for the season to get like 25 games, and you get a 10 grand bonus or whatever it is. The player in question knew the bonus was about to be paid. They agreed that he would come off. He'd like say, "Oh, I've got a bit of a hammy" or some such thing. And then during the game, even though they were winning, he's like, "Actually, no, mate, I want to crack on."
What, to get?
Yeah, so they had an agreement, right, that the player I was talking to would, towards the end of the game, the guy who started would come off to let him come on,
right?
So he would gain his bonus,
right?
So he's like, "Right, how's the hamstring, Patrick?"
Oh,
and he's like,
pinged.
it's fine, David. It's fine. And he just carried on.
So he's like the Chelsea keeper.
Yeah. So he missed out his bonus.
Gutted.
Because his mate wouldn't come off. So yeah, it's dishonest. And if you knew what happened to that player, subsequent to that, it's even more hilarious. Anyway,
What happened?
I can't say because you'll know who it is.
Oh, okay. The Manu Tuilagi thing, I think I'm in agreement with you. Although I think the salary cap's greater and the wages have inflated. So
yeah.
I don't think he's being overpaid right now. I might say we'll keep the money as it is at 450. And Manu, we can't afford any more. But I just want to remind you, look, our medical team know you inside out.
They know your knee, your ankle, your shoulder, your pectoral, your wrist, your elbow.
So everything.
So if you want to stay fit and get that 300k a year for England, we are the club to stay at. And well, because that's not even talking about loyalty, because I think that's a false thing saying we've looked after you, you owe us.
Yeah.
That's rubbish. It's actually more the point saying, Manu, look how we know you better than anyone. And I'd also be saying to him, you go to France, and this maybe moves it onto the Racing point of view. You go to France, Manu, where if you get injured, you're going to be sent to a rehabilitation centre, nothing to do with the club. That's what they do.
Is it?
Yeah. That's what they do. They go, off you go. Well, you know, Carl Ferns, he went off and did his own thing.
He did for a long time.
But because they don't care about, well, not don't care, but it's not the club. The club don't have a load of physios, S&C staff. They don't have all that.
So I'll give you the counter argument to that.
They have a great cheese board.
They do. So I was talking to a player who plays in France. Won't mention his name. And the view is actually not so straightforward. We talk about the French leagues as the because they play for so long. But they do so much resting of players when they play away. It's almost like you're only playing every other week anyway. If you only feel good. I mean, if you're bad, you have to play every week.
Well, so here's the other point from that on the Manu thing. Yeah, you might go, actually, we're not gonna rinse you and play you every single week. We're only going to play you at home on that artificial surface. That'll be good for you.
Oh,
and then when you do,
indoors,
when you do get injured, we're not going to take care of you. We're going to send you off to a rehabilitation place with whoever will look after you and take care of yourself. I think Racing, great for the bank balance. I think it'll be a terrible move for Manu.
I'm neutral on it. I think he can go. I think it's a good move for Tigers. I think the Tigers are the ones that need to get rid.
So that's where I am as well. So Manu will always get the kind of shareable clips, the social media clips, because he will put in big hits and have bullocking runs.
Yeah, let's take England this weekend.
This weekend is a perfect example. He puts one big hit on Liam Williams and he puts a bullocking run partway through the second half. Besides that, he was anonymous and actually at times worse than anonymous because defensively and offensively.
So known, but badly.
Well, yeah, but known for being bad because he was out of position. He's out of position, which caused missed tackles, and he was out of position offensively, which prevented England's structure. So I actually think from Leicester, because you got the game tape, you know all of this, you know how highly other clubs will value him, but you also know he's actually not necessarily the best thing for the structure of that rugby club. You can value him properly, which is way below what Racing should be valuing him at. So I think the best thing for Leicester is to let him go.
The other thing is, look at Quins and suddenly how much better they are when they're not losing their big marketable and financial assets to England. And Leicester, if they do raise it to nearly 600k, they're still, and particularly in a World Cup year, next year, you're not going to see him.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
No,
and they're not going to be playing in the Champions Cup. Probably.
Probably, yes. I agree with that.
So, and they've won the under-18 title 2 years in a row now. Take that £500,000, find those amazing youngsters you've got, and think 3 years down the line.
Yeah, I completely agree. Cut down all the other trees so the saplings can grow.
But Leicester have offered him more money, and they want to keep him, so he may well decide to stay.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Go on. Well, it's not for me.
So if we were Leicester, we would actually say, sorry, Manu, that offer's no longer on the table.
Here's an alternative.
Here's an alternative offer.
I know the story of a director of rugby rescinding an offer.
Yeah, I know an example of that as well.
Yeah, it's brutal, actually.
Yeah, I know. But yeah,
there was one, unless I'm thinking of the same one. The one that I can think of is the Kyle Eastman story at Bath.
Oh yeah,
which was a contract that was if
terms were signed or something.
Yeah, if the contract wasn't signed, some letter of intent or some pre-agreement was signed for the figure that comes to mind. This is about 3 or 4 years ago. Was 330k.
He was going to be one of the highest paid players in Bath, right?
Yes, he was.
So from there, I think Mike Ford went, and then they didn't renew his contract.
Yes.
Now, I do not know if Kyle Eastman is getting paid a fortune because he's talented and available at the time, or he's getting paid next to nothing. It's one of the two.
Well, there was talk of him going back to Rugby League at one point, which would
tells me he's not earning much money.
Exactly. Yeah.
But there's also pictures of him walking around Leon, which tells me he's on a lot of money. So I don't know which is which.
And another lad did actually go to Rugby League, or it was announced that he's going to Rugby League this week.
Good old Luth.
Big Luth.
Yeah, I hope
Big Luth.
Yeah, I hope it goes well for him.
So
absolutely.
So the summary on Manu Tuilagi is, so for me is, Manu, you should not go to Racing. However, Leicester, you shouldn't keep Manu.
Yeah.
That's where I am. That is exactly where I am, yeah.
Yeah, it all comes to some reasonable agreement, but they won't.
I think his perceived market value will be so high and so misaligned with what I see his real market value to be to Leicester.
You're basically signing another Benteo, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I wonder where Benteo is, because Benteo's contract must be up.
He's gone to France, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't
know.
Some more delicious money.
Irish are chucking loads of cash around.
Oh,
that'd be a fit. That'd be a fit.
It would be an interesting fit, wouldn't it?
Because he's part Irish, obviously. You know,
obviously.
There's that picture of him wearing the Irish jersey.
Yes, how did I forget?
That would fit.
Sean O'Brien, one Irish superstar. Benteo, another
almost Irish
superstar.
Oh, I guess it keeps
he's as Irish as CJ Stander.
Mind you, hang on. He's 32, right?
Yeah.
31, 32, yeah.
Yeah, he's nearly old enough to play in our veterans team. So he's not long for international rugby, is he? As good as he is, he's not long for it. So I'd probably go to France. But if Irish are going to pay him some big cash, go there.
Oh, well, they are chucking the cash around. There's not really many other news stories this week.
Well, let's talk about Luther Burrell a second.
Yeah, go on.
Because that's exciting. He signed Warrington Rugby League.
Charlie's new teammate.
Yeah. So 2 ex-Rugby League, then went to Rugby Union, then back into Rugby League players. I think he started off in Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Big Luth, before going to Leeds, and then going to Sale, then going to Northampton, winning a title, playing for England.
With stop-offs at Otley and Sedgley Park.
Is that right?
On the way, yeah.
Yeah, and now he's going to Warrington. And I know all roads Burgess, but all roads really to Burgess. I mean, have you ever known a player being treated so badly by the international setup as... No, I don't think badly. Nothing malicious happened. But he dropped...
into a test match?
Yep, by Eddie Jones. But from the World Cup squad altogether, when you were playing well, you were fit, you were in the camp, because Sam Burgess got in. I mean, he has had some rotten luck.
In that 2015, it was 2015 when he was the starter in the Six Nations for the first few games.
Him and Billy 12 a pretty formidable...
Well, it was him and JJ, wasn't it?
Well, depends. So when they...
Look, I've got Luther and Billy 12 Trees does not sound like a great partnership.
It's up there with Jamie Noon and Ayula Arinley.
Yeah, but I tell you what, that was the partnership that took to pieces JD2 and Jamie Roberts when Wales were really, really good at Twickenham.
That was the game. No, that's a different one. I just suddenly remembered there was one. I think it was an England-Scotland game where JJ tore it up and scored loads of tries. That's when we just watched Wales v Ireland in the Millennium Stadium as it was then. And that amazing goal line stand, Wales to beat Ireland.
That's the one.
We then watched it in a pub outside Cardiff Arms Park, and I've never I've never genuinely felt more hatred towards me as an Englishman. Like, but people, there was a lot said after the Wales England game. People going, "Oh, it's a bit over the top." Everyone hyping up the hatred between of Welsh people towards English people. I can tell you on that particular day, it was very, very real in that pub.
Yeah,
Very real.
I can attest to that.
And just looking back, it was mostly Big Luth and Joseph in 2015, the starting centre combination with Billy 12 Trees coming off the bench.
Just when you need the pressure relieving in the odd ball lobbed into touch.
Yeah,
Missed 3 into touch.
So he's now gone. So, well, he's going to go at the end of the season. And the other rugby league rumour, because this is rugby league hour now, is Sonny Bill Williams to Toronto Wolfpack. Now, most people will think, why do you care about the Toronto Wolfpack? I'll tell you why. Because they train at the same place as Didsbury Toc H. So
Where's the bell?
Where's the bell? Hang on. I'm sure I've got a synthetic bell somewhere.
Synthetic bell. Where do they? Where's the training facility that?
Manchester MMU Platt Lane Complex.
Oh, nice.
It's got,
Is that what was formerly a city?
It used to be Manchester City Academy.
Yeah.
So that's
Sonny Brill in an institute of higher education.
Exactly.
With my reputation.
So so Brian Noble's office is right where we get changed. So if you want to see Sonny, if you want to see Sonny Bill and be coached by one of the greatest minds in rugby, Didsbury Toc H. We train at 8 o'clock Tuesdays at Platt Lane.
Are you using the possibility of Sonny Bill occasionally loitering on the changing rooms?
Don't see why this is controversial in any way.
The kids rugby short section of decathlons going to get some extra business, isn't it? With his tiny shorts.
Yeah, so come on down to Toc H. So if it's good enough for Sonny Bill, it's probably good enough for you.
As for the Premiership rugby this weekend and Pro 14 and stuff, I mean the England Wales game just served as a fantastic build up to the big game, Ulster v Zebre.
Oh, what was
the score? Because I know my beloved Benetton won.
2 50-point victories for our beloved teams.
Yes.
57-7 Benetton beat the Dragons.
How about Dragons?
54-7 Ulster hammered Zebre.
How much money would they have to pay to coach the Dragons? Do it.
It would be a lot. It'd be so miserable.
How bad can a team be when you've got a bunch of full-time professionals? I mean, these jobs aren't easy to come across, and you've got a load of players there. How bad can they possibly be? And yet they are. They're really bad.
Or is it just that your beloved Benetton are just so good?
Well, they are very, very good. They are. So that solidly puts Benetton into second place now.
It does.
Because Cardiff beat Edinburgh.
And doing it during the Six Nations that's impressed me.
That is really impressive.
They're a good team.
Good structures in place.
Ever since I started supporting them a few years ago, things have really looked up for them.
Ever since Conor O'Shea joined it.
Well, I'm not sure what the correlation is there, but let's just stick with what I said.
There's something.
So I'm going to mention Six Nations because I'm going to talk about something else, which is rugby during the Six Nations. Pro 14 doesn't handle it too well. Lots of empty stadiums. Massive props to Gloucester. I watched that game on Friday night, and I mean, I'm not saying it's a sellout. I'm sure there were some empty seats, but it was pretty much full.
And it wasn't
bouncing.
far off it. It looked like an amazing atmosphere.
I mean, they've got it right there. Whatever they're doing, they've got it right. And then they go and beat Saracens to go back to back Exeter and then Saracens. That's how you do it, boys.
I mean, equally, yes, you're right. And Gloucester, well, and you can only beat who's in front of you, but they have locked out with their fixtures.
Yeah, they have.
They have timed it just right. They lose nobody.
And in fact, more than that, not only lose nobody, all of their injuries have come back.
Yeah. Sippers came back.
Yeah, like the back row is insane now. Half their pack is South African. But
just Palledri off the bench to add a little bit of
a little spice.
A little bit of spice. The last 20.
But in fairness, everyone showed up.
Yep.
The crowd showed up. They performed well. Atkinson, 12 trees. We'll mention him again.
Atkinson is, I think,
class.
He is class.
He's really good.
I did ask him. I saw him at the Gloucester training ground last week and said to him, Mark, I'm really disappointed. Why'd you change your Twitter handle from Sausage Legs 10? And he said, I just thought it was time to grow up. And he said, and I thought it was time to get the number 10 out of my Twitter handle. I had to accept I'm not going to be a fly half.
So what's he now?
12. I don't. Well, I don't know.
Sausage legs 12. ham hands 12.
He's another one who played at Sedgley for a brief period.
Yep, and Bedford.
Yeah.
And Wasps.
He is. Oh, and he is Mark Atkinson _ which that's a bit disappointing.
Such a shame.
It should be at least Mark Atkinson _ sausage legs 12.
Yeah.
But, so you mentioned the South African pack, or the elements of the South African pack, and they did play very well. And they've got a couple of Kiwis.
Honeck has been a revelation for me.
Honeck's been good. They've got Woodward, Marshall. I know Woodward's English qualified. Willie Hines, who I believe is also English qualified.
He's been to English training camp.
He has. But it was the core and the point scorers and the core of the team, the best players. So 12 Trees did kick well and played well all round. I thought Ed Slater had a great game. And Ben Morgan is playing... He's in the form of his life. He's in better form than when he was playing for England 4 or 5 years ago.
He looks lean.
He looks...
He looks lean for Ben Morgan.
Yeah, he looks good. He's fat.
Lean, grizzly bear.
Explosive.
No, again, from the training ground, that's one of the things, when he walked past me, one of the things I went is like, he's got like more of a V shape than I've ever seen him.
He is looking in great shape, and he's playing some really, really good rugby.
Maybe he got himself a squat rack for his home gym.
He might have, yeah.
Yeah, I'm impressed. So, is it Gloucester's year?
So,
It could be Gloucester's year.
Gloucester beat Saracens by 6 points, and admittedly, the late Saracens try, or the two late Saracens try, they comfortably beat Saracens, but a Saracens team with...
That wasn't Saracens.
More than half a dozen key first-choice players, first-choice internationals
That wasn't
missing.
Saracens.
Can they do it when Saracens are... So, if they get into the top 4, they've got to travel to either Allianz
Mako,
or Sandy
Jamie
Park.
George,
Marrow,
Billy, George Cruz, Billy,
Owen Farrell, Liam
Williams, Elliot Day. No, not yet. Not yet.
Next season, maybe.
Yeah, that's...
Maitland as well. God, there's so many players to come back.
Yeah, but if we knew the result, we wouldn't play the game.
No, I agree. So I'm not saying Gloucester can't beat them, but I'm just saying they didn't. All I'm saying is they didn't play Saracens on Friday. I mean, of course they did, but you know.
Yeah. And it was a great performance, taking nothing away from that Gloucester performance. Can they do it at Allianz or at Sandy Park when Gloucester or Exeter have all of those players available?
Well, if they carry on winning, someone's going to have to come to bloody King's Home.
Well, they beat Exeter.
They did.
Home and away now.
Yeah.
They beat them when Exeter did have all their players.
Well, which was in the Champions Cup.
Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah. So I would just say, right,
but they can do it. So you are right.
If they keep on, let's have a look at the table. So what does the table say?
Gloucester 4th, Quins are 3rd.
No, they're 3rd. Quins are 4th. Aren't they?
Well, no, Quins won again, so they must be
Quins
3rd still.
are 3rd.
Oh, yeah,
Quins won again comfortably. I mean, that...
There is a 10-point gap. So
yeah,
Chiefs on 57 in first, Saracens on 53 in second, Quins 10 points later on 43, and Gloucester on 40. So they're 13 points off second place.
Do you know what always tells me Saracens are going to lose? And I always know. When Christopher Tolofua plays. He's the barometer for Saracens losing.
He's on his way out.
I'm not surprised.
He's on his way to Toulon.
I wouldn't even let him go to training. Every time I see him play, he's that bad, it rubs off on everyone else.
Is that the most Toulon signing you can possibly imagine?
Yes.
An enormous, but actually not very good hooker.
He's perfect for Toulon. Perfect. But
Hope he's got a DNA test.
And by the way, he is enormous.
He is absolutely enormous.
Until you see him in real life, you don't know
he is, but he's not nearly as enormous as he was when he arrived.
Yeah, true.
At Saracens,
That is true.
They did a Will Skelton on him. They've got. Yeah, I mean, there should be a New Year fitness DVD featuring Will Skelton and Christophe Tolofua that Saracens could make a salary cap's worth of money on.
I imagine that if you put that suggestion to Alex Sanderson, he would jump at the chance to be bare chest with his wolf medallion around his
Wolf
chest,
medallion.
doing a Jane Fonda
Have you-
style 1980s.
Have you seen his wolf medallion?
Have I seen his wolf medallion?
I was in a lift with him at Sale Sharks, and I asked him, "Have you got your wolf medallion on? Your wolf necklace?" He goes, "Yes." You couldn't be more proud of it.
Yeah, we were in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Oh,
We
yeah.
were out for drinks.
Yeah. So obviously he obviously somehow he forgot meeting me for a first time. So the fact that I knew about the wolf medallion, he was delighted. Yeah. If you see Alex Anderson out, if you just see him around the shops, ask him or something, ask him about his wolf medallion, and he'll just whip it out for you.
Yes.
Wolf's head, an actual wolf's head on a chain.
So the other results this week. So well done, Gloucester. The other
Yeah.
results: Northampton, a last-minute, 82nd minute try, converted try that gave them a 1-point win over Bath. So a very narrow.
And that's a bit in the. I'm just looking at the table now, and that was a big win.
That is a 10-pointer, however you say it, 8-pointer in rugby.
And a huge blow for Bath.
Yes, because that would have been Bath win that. They've got eyes on the top 4.
2 points off Gloucester. Yeah.
But
Bath
Northampton
was saying
leapfrog into fifth.
midweek in Bath Chronicle that they've discovered the formula for scoring or something. You see that?
No.
Like,
Sounds
Anyone
like-
else just got that little meme picture of Zach Galifianakis in their head with all the numbers floating past him?
yeah, sorry.
Bath find one weird trick how to score tries.
17 new ways to score tries. You won't believe number 4.
Yeah, so the headline was something like, we've discovered the secret to... No, this is the secret to scoring tries. Yeah, I do feel sorry for Bath. It just feels like as soon as they get...
They need to find the secret to paying attention when you've got a penalty on your 5 metre line. The opponent's got a penalty on the 5 metre line in the final moment of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as they...
Take the right decision. Get that secret.
I mean, I've heard... and, you know, you shouldn't really cite sources people say, but people say. I mean, I've heard that as nice a man as Todd Blackadder is, he literally doesn't have a clue about what he's doing. Like, he doesn't know the names of the opposition players. He doesn't know who's playing week in, week out.
I don't believe that he watched every DVD of every Bath game for the last 2.5 years before he turned up.
Well, I don't believe any of it, frankly. And I think he's sort of just... It's a very powerful yet rudderless Bath ship, and they can't wait to get new people in. I think that change can't come soon enough now.
So,
will they make a change? Will they just go Stuart Hooper?
Yeah,
he feels like he's being groomed.
Well,
doesn't
actually,
it?
sorry, when I say a change, it's definitely going to be Stuart Hooper, but it's going to be someone coaching underneath Stuart Hooper, I'd imagine. But I think Stuart Hooper's making all the decisions now anyway. Yeah. Poor old Todd. Apparently, lovely bloke, just not really that focused.
Well, I can't speak to that. All I can say is, yeah, lovely bloke. Lovely, lovely man.
Other games. So, Exeter Chiefs, 35, Newcastle 17. So, another game. So, Newcastle scored 3 tries, couldn't keep the scoreboard ticking over enough to stay within 7 points, and critically couldn't get that 4th try. So, get nothing out of a visit to Sandy Park, which is not entirely unexpected, but to score 3 but not the
They must be so miserable in Newcastle. That's the only thing I can think of, really.
Well, the key, because alongside that, so Bristol got a bonus point try. They scored 4 tries. And Worcester. So they, with a 79th minute Tom Howe try, they beat a woeful Leicester side.
So, is anyone thinking that Leicester are hoping for Newcastle to go down more than anyone? Because I would not be again for their DOR post.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. Although so Leicester all around their grounds have bars and areas named after ex-players, and there used to be a Dean Richards bar, but
I think it was after
there now isn't. But that was when it was
Wow.
at Quins.
Yeah, but it is still kind of bringing his character into distribute. I'm just speculating.
I don't know why either. But there is no longer a Dean Richards bar, and where there was, there's like Rory Underwood's mentioned places and Martin Johnson and not Dean Richards anymore. So I don't know if there's any. I have no idea if there's any, if his relationship with Leicester is still got some sort of nostalgic value whether there's lots of goodwill between them or not. But yeah, I mean, but they've given Geordie Murphy a long-term deal.
Have they?
Well, they gave him
the head job. Have they given him a long-term
not
deal?
till the end of the season. They said, no, you're our man.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
The dreaded
do you know
vote
how
of
many
confidence.
games they've won recently? Win-loss ratio?
They won one in the last 6. Something like that.
2 wins in the last 16 all competitions.
Away from home this season, they have won once, and that was the neutral venued Northampton game for
Rob Horn.
Interesting.
So they've never won this season. They have not won at an opponent's ground.
Goodness me.
And they almost won this game against Worcester. So I watched it yesterday afternoon. They almost won, but not through anything that they did particularly well. They got the Jonah Holmes intercept try, which was like watching a repeat. There was a game earlier in the season, I think it was Worcester v Northampton, where there was at least one, possibly two Cobus Reinach interceptions, and Worcester just conspired to throw it away. I thought they're going to do it again. Worcester missed 2 very kickable penalties through Duncan.
That was a 14-point swing, that try, wasn't it? Because it was a guaranteed try if they just got the pass.
And it was either side of it, or just very close to it, was 2 missed penalties. So it was almost a 20-point swing in that. And you just think, well, no matter how badly Leicester are playing, Worcester are going to end up throwing this away. And I was delighted that Worcester actually won it in the end. Not because I wanted to see Leicester lose, but because I quite like Worcester as a team. I like the way they play. I like what they're trying to do. So I was quite pleased at the end of it that they got that try.
So the bottom of the table, Newcastle 17 points, Bristol 11th, 26 points, Worcester 10th, 26 points.
9-point gap.
And then that middle bunch going for the top 6, maybe top 4, is Leicester 30 points, Sale 33 points, Bath 34, Wasps 35, Northampton 35.
Could you see Leicester getting dragged into relegation scraps?
They're 13 points clear.
13 points. That would mean Newcastle in the remaining 8 matches, Newcastle would have to win 3 more games at least than Leicester win.
Well, if Newcastle can beat Leicester, they play each other soon. Who has Leicester got?
Well, obviously it's not definitively or mathematically the case, but if Worcester beat Newcastle have got 1 foot in the Championship.
So let's say that Leicester's next win has to be at home. So let's discount the away wins. Right, so we don't think they're going to win away because they just haven't. Next game they've got Wasps at home.
That's winnable.
Yeah, I'd say that's almost a must-win. I mean, it's not a must-win. They're not going to go down if they don't win it. But to be
they've always qualified for the top tier of the European competition every single season.
And it was only last year that they didn't qualify for the top four.
They got Sale away, so they're going to lose that. Northampton at Welford Road. I mean, these are always big games, but Northampton are definitely the best of these 2 teams at the moment.
But they'll probably have their England boys back by then.
Yeah, it's true. Exeter at Welford Road. Tough.
Yeah.
Newcastle away. I'm going to assume that they lose that. They've got Bristol at home. They should win that.
Yeah.
Harlequins away. They're going to lose that. And then the last game of the season is going to be Bath at Leicester. So I can see them winning between 2 and 3 between now and the end of the season.
So yeah, for Newcastle to have to trouble them, Newcastle would have to win 5 or 6 in 8.
Which is quite a...
It would be a hell of a turnaround in fortunes for Newcastle.
Yes, and for Bristol and for Worcester.
Yes.
So if Newcastle don't beat Worcester next weekend at Kingston Park on Sunday, 3 p.m. kickoff, and they're not down obviously because they'd still only be 9 points off of Bristol if Bristol don't win themselves. That is, they've got the Friday night game against Gloucester.
Gloucester, yeah.
But if Bristol manage to pull off a win at Ashton Gate and Newcastle don't win, then you're almost ready to call Newcastle down, or 1 foot in the Championship.
Yeah, I'm getting to that stage now. I'd say
and it's the getting nothing out of games again. It's getting close, but just not getting enough.
It's going to be a big weekend. It's a break weekend in the Six Nations, obviously, so that's we can have a good old focus on the Premiership. Sale, hammered by Northampton.
Yeah.
And then go and win.
Yeah.
At Wasps.
I can't tell you what happened in Northampton because I literally didn't see any of the game. Northampton was so busy scoring tries, there was no actual footage of rugby. It was just running after, and sometimes we didn't even have time to show all the run-ins.
But it wasn't exactly. It wasn't like Steve Diamond went, "You're dropped, you're dropped, you're dropped, you're dropped."
No,
He changed a couple.
Changed it a little. Put Sam James at 10, which was quite interesting.
Yeah, AJ's got ankle ligaments.
Oh really?
That's good.
I noticed he wasn't playing for the USA.
Yeah,
That's going to add to your fantasy rugby issues. You had no fly half this weekend, JB.
I know.
And I picked up Callum Sheedy, who scored 46 points.
That's
What?
nice. Good for you, mate.
Waiver
Good
wire.
for you, pal. Delighted for you.
Yeah, pretty handy little pick up that.
Isn't it just? So this is a very Sale-esque recovery. And that is to say that they can have these horrors occasionally, and they do. And then Diamond sort of gets very strict and they go right back to basics.
Old school.
And and
The good old school.
Yeah,
Old
not,
school. Yeah, the good old school.
Not the ridiculous, rather nasty, slightly pathetic St. Peter's old school. The actual old school where you go back and you look at what you're doing and you talk about basic things like you do it level 8 rugby. Make sure your guards are in. Make sure your bodyguards are in. Whatever the process is that you're doing, you're going to go right back to basics, and that's what they've done.
So, but basically, I genuinely reckon that from what you're saying, actually, if Sale lose, Dimes could just get you in to do the week's training.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just do some old
You
drills.
or is Alsatian, both about the same coaching
The
skills.
Alsatian's died.
Phil, that's
Phil.
so insensitive.
What are you doing? Leah's no longer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Good
That's
God.
so insensitive.
You don't even mention that in Carrington. Right.
Apologies,
You've ruined the whole podcast now. That's basically what they've done. Because I think what Diamond does understand is that rugby is fundamentally a game of basics, and that's what he's very good at, is instilling these real good basic values. And what impressed me about Sale this week was their defence, particularly towards the end. Thought they were very good. What didn't impress me about Wasps was some of the tackling. Did you see the try that Rob Webber scored?
Oh, I did.
I've not seen it.
It's right. Okay, don't get me wrong. Rob Webber is a hard man to stop at the best of times. He is going at full tilt, and was it Juan de Jong? How was his name? De Jong, right?
Yeah, Juan
de Jong.
Juan de Jong.
Right. He's sort of standing on the try line, and when you're defending, the first two steps you should take are
Generally forward.
Go forward.
Especially if you're on your try line.
20 stone of Rob Webber is coming towards you at full pelt. You're going to need some sort of momentum to stop him. De Jong just stood there and sort of gently stroked him as he flopped over.
Didn't fancy it.
Did not fancy it
Not
even
old school enough.
slightly. So, yeah, really good win for Sale this, because going away to Wasps is really, really difficult. Yeah, Wasps were missing a few players. Sale looked pretty strong, but Sale got the basics right. So,
When you speaking about Sale getting the basics, what are the basics for Denny Solomona? Is it like,
jeez,
don't get married in Las Vegas?
I got no idea.
Stop texting page 3 girls.
I have no idea. And we're editing that out. That's the end of that.
You wanted to live stream, JB. This is unfortunate, mate.
No, of all the things.
There's nothing wrong in that.
Well,
That's all a matter of fact. It's all.
It's not a matter of fact. It's certainly not a matter of facts that I know. I have different facts to that. That's nothing I know about. Really interesting for Sale is they had their loosehead prop playing. Have you seen this fella? Valery Mozatov, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, is he Moldovan?
No, he's Russian.
Is he Russian?
He's
okay.
proper Russian. And he is enormous. Like, you need to see some pictures of this guy. Doesn't speak a word of English yet. And I think when Ostrikov goes to Grenoble at the end of the season, that's going to be a real big loss, because he is translating everything for him. But honestly, this boy is huge. I'm not sure there's a more frightening looking prop in
I will need to see him now.
all of the Premiership. And he's Russian, that makes him even scarier.
I need to
So
find
you're
out his name.
24 years old.
Is that all he is?
According to this, this was when he signed in December.
Yeah. So I think this might even be his first. It's definitely his first Premiership game.
Morozov.
Yeah. Have a look at that, boys. Feast your eyes on that.
Images.
I thought he was a tight head actually, but he played loose on the weekend.
Loose, yeah.
Found him yet, Sim?
Yeah, there's a video of him playing on a mud surface
Yep. He's
in for NSI, is it?
could be.
Krasnodar.
Krasnodar.
Yeah, that's it.
This is his 80-meter try that I think I remember it on
Yeah,
the
that's
same
the
video.
one. That's the same video. Oh, so this is great. This is great podding.
Listen to the boys. Watch videos in silence.
Ooh.
Good run.
Dummy, is that him? No.
Yeah, he's a big boy, and hopefully, if he works out, there'll be another great signing by Dimes, who just seems to uncover these props left, right, and centre.
Yeah, he should know. He should be banned from being a prop for doing that.
He's huge, isn't he? Enormous.
It's hard to gauge when you're watching that level of rugby.
But he'll be
I'm
incredible.
sure he's enormous.
Trust
He'll
me.
have incredible core stroke. Oh my word, that's a great picture. Oh yes, I love it. He's got legs like Andrew Porter. Look at those.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
Wow.
those legs. Yeah.
Wow.
See, you just said it to go along with me, and then you had a good inspection. His legs
Yeah,
are legitimately the size of a human torso.
yeah. He's the shape that Janzi von Rensburg should be.
His legs are so big they make his arms look a bit weedy. Have another look.
And his arms.
His arms are enormous.
They are.
So anyway, enough of that.
Right.
It just means Sale. I mean, they should really be in fourth place, but that horrible loss to Northampton put an end to that. I think they've got it all to do to make top six at the moment.
It's tough. It's very tight at the top.
Yeah.
Predictions.
Go on then, fire away.
Let's get out of here. It's 22 midnight.
Yeah, go on.
On Monday night. It's your first day back at
Work tomorrow.
After
Work today. You've been at work today.
No, work tomorrow. Last day.
Yeah, of course. So go on.
It's Monday night right now, Jay. Come on.
Who?
Friday, 1st of March, 7:45. Bristol hosting Gloucester.
Gloucester.
Stir.
Gloucester. Yeah, absolutely. Ollie Thorley to run wild.
Next.
Saturday, 2nd of March, all 3 o'clock kickoffs. We've got Tigers hosting Wasps, which neither team are playing particularly well at the moment.
Leicester at home's a different beast.
If Leicester get George Ford back, they'll win.
They should do.
But also, Wasps get Robson. Remind you, Robson Simpson's not a massive drop.
Yeah, the difference is not as big.
They'll probably get Nathan Hughes as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Might even get launchers, although maybe not.
Don't think so. Not with thingy
Not
out.
with-
though.
Yeah.
Courtney Law's out.
So here's an interesting question, actually.
Yeah.
Who gets called up to the bench spot for England? If launchers jump straight up,
Good
Chris and
question.
launchers.
So you got Chris Launchbury.
Because
So Marrow's out.
the automatic one you think is who's been involved recently. and
Charlie
it'd be
Yules sounds
Ezekiel-
like-
Ezekiel or Yules.
Ezekiel, isn't his goose cooked?
I mean, he's still young, so
He's still very, yeah. I'm not sure Ezekiel will get called up. Let's just have a look. Have I got the latest squad list?
what would Gatlin do?
Well, Gatland would have been playing some substandard second row for the best part of 3
He's
years
been playing
now.
Callum Green for the last 3 years.
Yeah, exactly, and he'd be now a lion and ready to go. So
He'll probably pick Brad Shields, Eddie Jones.
It's
As a
a
lock.
possibility.
Dave Atwood would be my go-to, but I don't even know if he's fit.
He's been alright the last
playing.
couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's been playing for Bath.
Yeah, Dave Atwood. Would be,
But well, you've got 3 there at Bath. So Yules,
Yules would be the one.
Stuke, and Atwood.
So Yules, I believe, is a real great leader.
I'd go for Atwood, but
I'll go with
he'll
Atwood.
go for Yules.
Yeah, they think Yules is a good talker, that kind of thing. Nonsense. Just get the big guy in.
Atwood or Slater.
Slater's a good shout. That's the one I was.
Slater's not a bad shout.
I'd have Slater in.
So
Who else?
the only other guy that's been in recent squads. So all the guys in the squads. Yule's been in. Stuke's been in.
He called
Ezekwe's been in.
Spencer up at one point.
At
In
one
a
point,
wider training squad.
yeah, a while
And
ago.
he's not
on the
done
training
it. He's
squad.
not done it yet at Leicester.
No.
That's the other thing.
The only other one that's been called up was Johnny Hill. Was called up at
Oh, yes.
at one
Oh
stage.
yeah, they've got those 2 lads there.
No, Atwood or Slates. Get someone old school in there.
Agreed.
Big beefcake.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say beefcake, but brute. Beefcake sounds. Anyway,
Yeah. So we're all going with Atwood.
I would go with that one, actually.
Yeah.
Next game.
Sale host Exeter.
Sale who's next to Sale. I will be doing interviews at this game, so if you're near the Shaw Quay, you want to see who I'm interviewing, just pop in, say hello.
Not the Shark Tank.
No, there's a Shaw Quay, which used to be called the Shark Tank. There's also the Ruck Truck. Don't know why that's funny.
How can you possibly not be in the Ruck Truck, Jay?
There'll be a player in the Ruck Truck.
Nice.
We can go meet. So if you're in the Shaw Quay, I'll be doing the interviews about 2:00, I think. So that'll be nice for you.
Do you go in one-on-one and the door gets shut when you go into the Ruck Truck?
I've got no idea. I've not been allowed in the Ruck Truck yet. But yeah, that will be there.
Are there windows on the outside of the Ruck
I've got
Truck?
no idea.
They
I've
get
got no idea.
steamed up.
I don't know.
Like
You can
the car in Titanic.
Can you look in from the outside into the Ruck
I've
Truck?
got no idea. Don't know. Can't tell you.
Right, next game. Saracens host Northampton Saints.
Oh, sorry. I actually think Sale will win.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, I think Sale will win.
So Saracens against Northampton.
Well, this is like the traditional beatdown of beatdowns, isn't it?
It is when Saracens lose a game.
Yeah.
They just need to press reset by playing Northampton Saints and racking up 60 or 70 points.
Yeah, give me the same result again. 60, 70 points.
I'm not sure Saracens
40
have got
points to Saracens.
I'm not sure Saracens have got the personnel to do it.
Bet they have.
At Allianz, I think they'll sneak it.
Probably.
Ugly win.
I think they'll probably do, actually, similar to what they did against Leicester, which is tight for kind of 60-ish minutes, then score a couple of tries late on, make it look
Where's Lazowski at the moment? Is he injured?
No, he played 13.
Huh.
Lazowski and Barrett.
Do you know, you just reminded me of, I just looked at you then, we were talking about Saracens. Which Saracens player did I think Phil looks like just now with the Barnet like that?
Who looks like Nicola Sturgeon?
That was my previous
sorry.
Duncan Taylor.
Duncan Taylor, yes. Oh, yeah. There's a bit of Duncan Taylor there. I've not seen him for years.
Isn't he got a curly hair?
Yeah, but it's like a high top, isn't it?
It's like a high top.
Yeah.
Kid and play, curly hair. Anyway.
Give me Saracens.
Saracens just.
Next one.
Bath hosting Harlequins.
Oh, this is interesting.
Harlequins.
I like Harlequins.
Con Harlequins.
Yeah, that Bath back line without some of their guys away.
Let's see if the Harlequins are legitimate now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harlequins.
Give me Harlequins.
Oh,
And-
go the wreck. This feels like a game that Quins will go and bodge up. I'm just going to say Bath at home.
I think this will be a good game.
Do
Do you know what the televised game is?
There's 3 games this weekend. Sunday, obviously, is the one we'll talk
big
about in a
one.
minute. Saturday game, I think it's Leicester.
Leicester Wasps, the East Midlands, the new East Midlands derby.
Bristol, Gloucester, Leicester Wasps. And then the final game.
Final game Sunday,
Also
3
live
o'clock.
Also live on BT Sport.
Relegation decider. Newcastle Falcons host Worcester Warriors. Warriors travel from one plastic pitch to another to play their not so exciting brand of rugby that they didn't manage to score many tries, but actually played quite nice rugby against Leicester. Who's going to win this? Because this is a fundamental battle. If Newcastle win, they're right back in the hunt. They're only one win away from safety. If Worcester win, the gap just opens up.
I'm saying Worcester.
Worcester away.
Yeah, I think so. They're good enough.
Just looking at that Newcastle team. Deary me, they're missing players.
They are.
It's really worrying. There's nothing wrong with these guys, but you don't want to every single week. Let me just some of the names. Oh, come on. Your internet's gone now. You sure that Mevo sapping up it all?
Yeah, the Mevo's still good. Still going strong.
Well, they're without Welch. They're without Wilson. Obviously. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you've got...
Without Gary Graham.
Without Gonover.
Yeah, no Gonover's big.
Johnny Williams coming back's good. Davy Wilson and Sam Lockwood as your pro... Oh, I'm worried.
It's the leadership in the pack that they're missing out on.
I do think Newcastle are going to win this, though.
They've got to. They absolutely have to.
I think they're going to win this. And I don't know, Bristol are getting sucked right back into it, aren't they?
They are. They got a bonus point 4 tries, so they're still scoring tries, but they're not getting close to the wins. And hosting that Gloucester team, full-blooded Gloucester team is not going to be much fun for Bristol.
Nope. So I'm going for Newcastle.
Yeah, give me Newcastle. JB says Worcester. Right.
What's happening in the Pro 14? Any games next weekend?
Yeah, loads. Pro 14?
Oh, you can just tell me what fixtures. Who are Benetton and Ulster playing?
Yeah, Benetton and Ulster, and we'll move on from that.
Leinster host Cheetahs. Connacht host Ospreys. Benetton host Edinburgh.
Ooh.
That is tasty.
Tasty.
Smash them.
Although if Scotland have got a load of injuries, then that means Edinburgh have got no players, even if they get internationals released back.
Yes. So a big win for Benetton.
Yes, come on, lads.
Scarlets host Munster, Zebre host Glasgow, Cardiff host Kings, and the Mighty Dragons host my beloved Ulster. Yeah.
Did we draw in the JB, not the JB Cup, because obviously that belongs to Wales still.
17
As
all.
does the Rayburn Shield now.
Oh, did
Yeah,
it?
reunited.
Yeah, we've got the unification of the JB Cup and the Rayburn Shield.
Amazing.
I think if Wales get a Grand Slam, they'll be holding that, the Triple Crown, and the Six Nations.
It's what you dream of, isn't it, when you're a kid?
And then they could only better that by unifying it with the World Cup.
It's going to happen.
Although potentially they could lose a pool game in the World Cup, lose the JB Cup
and the Rayburn
and the Rayburn Shield,
what
but
a
win the
day.
World Cup.
That'd be horrific.
Yeah,
It's like the politics in boxing when there's mandatory challenges and automatic stripping of belts and stuff. It's almost like the JB Cup kind of really.
It matters to Wales. I mean, have you seen how they play? They've won 12 on the belts now? Because they know what it means.
that clip from Gatland, the bit that they keep cutting off when they play it is, we've got now to lose because we want to win the JB Cup.
Exactly. It's impressive stuff. Oh, actually, I've got one more story for you.
Here we go.
Before we go. This is so inside baseball, but I don't know. If you don't like it, boys, you can just tell me to stop talking.
We often try.
So we can all go home, right? So the politics of the internet and rugby are interesting, and Twitter is one area where people lose their minds. Let's find it. Tim Shock. There we go. Yeah.
The cesspit.
So listen to this. This is bizarre. You've probably heard of an account called Rugby Inside Line. They deal with rumours and transfer speculation. Actually, what they do really well...
Occasionally accurate.
Yeah, but what they do really well is they get people talking about rugby. There's no two ways about that. It inspires conversation, or it starts conversation. So another account was set up called Championship Inside Line. Now, this is interesting because it looks pretty much like Rugby Inside Line, but you would obviously know, wouldn't you? If Rugby Inside Line set up a second account, they'd use all the original graphics. You know, it's obvious that this account wasn't that. And the idea behind Championship Inside Line was to get all the transfers from the Championship and get people to talk about them. And apparently it's hosted by some ex-player. The media managers in the Championship conspired to take this Twitter account down based on mistaken identity that they thought it was Rugby Inside Line as a sort of like petty gesture to sort of get one up. So there's a Twitter account out there dedicated to talking about Championship rugby. And let's face it, the Championship needs as much selling as it can possibly get. And for whatever reason it is, the powers that be really dislike it.
So that was the powers that be in the Championship.
In the Championship.
It seems like a bit of an own goal, that, doesn't it?
An absolute own goal. So that's a weird one. You talk about having to support rugby below the Premiership level where it's really important. Not so great.
Rugby can be odd sometimes, and I think what I would always want to just remind anyone in rugby, and particularly people that actually trying to market the game to people outside of the bubble that we currently exist in, is rugby's really small.
It is really small.
Actually, we think of it, because it's our world, we think of it as this huge thing. And, at moments like England v Wales, it might be a big cultural moment that a lot of people but actually, broadly speaking, the game is small.
It's very small at Championship level.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone's going to give up their time to set up a Twitter account and run it and talk about stories, maybe they should just be left alone to try and generate some interest. but not how the media managers saw it. So that's a very
And what's their issue with it?
well, their issue with it was that some of the guys who work in the Championship used to work at the Premiership level, and they didn't like some of the rumours that Rugby Inside Line puts out. They thought they were one and the same, and so they thought they'd attack Championship Inside Line, which is bizarre.
Right.
Yeah, it's so convoluted. It's so inside baseball, but it does give you an idea of like we should be supporting everyone. You know, whether it be a podcast based on your club or your blog or whatever it is. If you're an amateur content creator, maybe you should get behind these people. There you go. I told you it was inside baseball.
Yeah, well, that's all right. It's just a surely we've all got. I don't mean you bringing it up on the podcast, but surely we've all got more time. Surely we've all got more in our life we'd want to do than be worried about someone who loves rugby so much they want to spread the word, contribute to it in whatever way they see fit.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Never mind.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week with domestic rugby.
Enjoy getting back in the workforce, Phil.
I'll
Earning
try.
for us and stop sponging off the state.
Yeah, you scumbag.
Thanks, guys.
Well, let the boys play.
Go.
so hot in
Go.
here.
It is fucking
so hot in here.
really hot. We're still on.
Are we still on?
Still on.